What's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Mint Condition. I'm Jason.
And I'm Matt Mintun.
And we talk about all things regarding your online business and how to make it the most beneficial for you.
Today we're going to talk about 3 common misconceptions that we've heard from our clients about running your business online.
Yes. And the first of those typically being surrounded about design.
Yeah, that's actually a big one. So oftentimes we have clients come in and we quote the project and they're like, no, I don't need design. I'll tell you what I want and you just develop it.
Yeah.
And this is a big misconception because there's so much that occurs in the wireframing, or we call it the prototyping phase, and the design phase that you can't do in the development phase. Because really what makes our websites different is the marketing strategy and psychology behind your customers that allows our websites to actually convert.
Okay.
And so during this design phase, it's actually the time that our branding specialists and our copywriting specialists and our designers work together with the client to figure out who your target market is, your personas, and then how to actually brand for those personas. That all is figured out in the design phase. So if you remove all that, all you have is a website that you've dreamt up.
Yes.
But with no real data behind it for conversion. It's just,
Right.
hey, that would look nice. I'm gonna launch it and hope that we get sales.
Yeah.
And so when you miss that vital part of the build, you're getting basically a third of the build out or the benefit of having a website build. So you're missing out on a lot. The great part is when you do include the wireframing and the design phase,
Yes.
you are able to control that customer journey. Now, we've talked about this on previous podcasts, how important that customer journey is in controlling it.
Yes.
And really being able to communicate to your target market, your personas, in a way that they like consuming data and presenting it in a flow that allows them to kind of like self-select and self-educate throughout the whole process, and then ultimately convert in whatever way that means for your business, whether that's a lead, lead for your sales department, a lead for your email marketing system and automation built out, sales, whatever it might be, you can actually control this in the design phase.
Man, and it's something around like 60% of people think that they can accomplish their goals without even having to worry about design.
Yeah.
I don't even know really what that even looks like.
Well, you know what's even a better statistic? I would say like 95% of people or businesses who hire developers end up not liking the outcome. Well, guess what? It's because you missed that design phase.
What is the recourse for, or not the recourse, but what is the result of like, hey, okay, this is what I want, and then time goes by, I get something back and I don't like it, and then how do I fix this?
Well, if you're working with that company who said you don't need design, then you're going to go back and forth with a developer who doesn't understand design. They just know how to build cool things.
Right.
And I guess the problem we run into a lot is that developers don't typically understand marketing strategy.
Right, sure, yes.
That's really what separates us, because we have marketing strategists on the team, and then we also have developers, and they work in conjunction with the designers. So really it's a long-term back and forth between client and developer to attempt to get the site to where they want it to be.
Right.
But really, and that's expensive because now you're paying development hours, and development just takes longer than dragging things around in like your Adobe apps or whatever where you're designing it.
Yeah.
And so it's just a lot easier to solve all those problems in the design phase. And in fact, in the wireframing phase is where we get the structure down and where things will go. And then design actually skins it and makes it look really sexy, and also is what appeals to your target market and your personas that we help you figure out.
Yes.
And then you approve that. So you know what the site's going to look like. You know the flow, you know what it looks like. If you have changes, well, you talk to your designer and you change various things.
Yes.
And it's a lot cheaper to do it that way.
Oh, 1,000%. I was actually just about to say that. It's one of those things where, yes, there are people that think that they can get around design, but at the same time, if you go that route and you find yourself in one of these predicaments that we just described, right? You work with a developer, they give you something, you don't like how it looks, so now you're in that back and forth, however painful or unpainful that is. Then afterwards, now you're talking about retracting things. Let's take this back, let's fix this here, let's do that there. And they're most likely gonna try. right? There's a good chance that that person is going to try, but it's going to cost you more money. Or if you decide, I'm not going to do that, I'm just going to go find a designer to go now design this for me, right? And then I'll take that and give that to the developer, so the developer can then do it.
That is actually the right approach.
Is it?
Well, you should have done that in the beginning, but if you screwed
yeah.
up and did development up front, that would be the approach I would take.
Sure, but it's got to be the costly one, right?
Unless you have a better
Could,
one.
yeah, you could just work with an agency. I'm sure all of
sure.
us have done a bunch of research as far as, is it better to go with just a single developer, an agency? Should I do this myself? And you all read the same information that we read, which is, yeah, you could go by yourself, but then you run into that headache. Or you could go with an agency, but then they're costly. But when it all comes down that you do the same dance every time, and you go looking for the same type of people, and they're different, houses that you're going to get different services and certain different work, and you pay that price. We're right here, and we're happy to help.
Oh yeah. Plus your site will convert.
Yeah.
Because
yeah.
our designers work with the marketing strategists, so
Yes.
there's that element of these sites convert. It's not just a beautiful website, sure it is, but it also is built with intention.
Definitely. And when it comes down to intention, how intentional is a template?
Not very.
This is number 2, guys. Number 2.
Yep, because a template is attempting to solve all the issues a business may have with a single template. But also keep in mind, was that template built by a marketing company or by a designer?
True.
Likely a designer
True.
and a developer.
Right.
But likely not a marketing company. And so now you have a template that looks really nice, but who knows, depending on where you got it from, who knows how much data went behind the actual layout.
Right.
Plus, keep in mind, if you're doing something that's supposed to solve everything for every business, it's not written for your personas. The design isn't specific to your customer journey, or like the flow isn't specific to your customer journey.
Right.
The colors, the fonts, all that stuff is not speaking to your personas. It's speaking to the mass majority, or realistically, it's speaking to the designer who designed it.
Yes.
They're going to design it to
Definitely.
be what they enjoy looking at.
It's kind of like, unfortunately, I kind of look at it like food, to be honest, right? So for me, it's like you're a pretty healthy person, right? So I don't know what the last fast food place that you went to, right? But if you think about one that you've gone to and you looked at the menu, they got a bunch of templates on the board, right?
Yeah.
You can get a number 1, a number 2, a number 3, a number 4, and in most cases, or a lot of cases for a lot of people, you say, I want a number 4, but hold the pickles. I don't want fries, I'd rather have tots.
Yep.
And you start changing things around.
Sure.
Just go custom in the first place. You know that's what you want.
Yep.
So, what's number 3 when it comes to the misconceptions that most of us have?
Yeah, so we typically have prospects that come to us and think, if I develop my website and let's say I spend all this time with you to have you design it, develop it, it's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
They have this misconception that that's the last of it. Hey, when we launch this in 4 to 6 months, I'm done with development.
Over and done.
Yeah, and they think that the approach is, okay, I rebrand, I design, and then I develop, and then it sits for 2 years. Okay, now it's time to rebrand again, design, develop, and then it sits for 2 to 3 years. That's just not the approach we should take, because websites are a living thing. They should be continuously updating.
Yeah.
I like to relate this to mobile apps.
Okay.
App developers know this.
Okay.
How often do your mobile apps update?
Right.
Probably once a week.
Right.
Because they're fixing bugs, but more importantly, they're adding functionality. And how exciting is it when you use, Google Maps or Apple Maps or some app?
Yes.
And then they make an update, no matter how small it is, but let's say they make an update that's visual, and you're like, oh dang, I want to use this.
Right.
For me, I nerd out over font changes.
Yeah.
And text changes or color changes.
Right.
And so when our project management system changes their fonts every now and then, I'm like, oh man, I want to use this, and it breathes new life into the platform, and makes me as the owner of the company want to actually use the system.
Yes.
Now, wouldn't you want your viewers to want to use your website more often if they see changes to it? Now, this really works well for e-commerce businesses, as well as membership businesses, because now you have paying members. You want them to continuously be seeing improvements and additions being made, and this is why kind of a bonus one, we also tell clients that, hey, you should have a phased approach where we release, let's say they want to release 5 things, 5 new things. We say, hey, you should release one at a time.
Yes.
Because now you have 6 months, let's say you release one every month, you have 5 to 6 months of releases.
Right.
And so now your customers aren't getting 5 things at once, which would be really cool, but you're kind of having Christmas every single
Trickle
month.
Down. Yeah.
So that's really powerful. So we help strategize those releases as well for various businesses.
That's pretty huge. I will readily admit that prior to working with Mintun Media, I did not pay attention to this. So if you're out there and you're watching this and you haven't noticed, don't feel bad. But your wife brought up something huge to me, and also in listening to you talk about this stuff, I started to notice companies that do this very well, namely Xfinity. Right?
Oh yeah.
I always get emails about, hey, we got this new Xfinity experience, come check it out. And I honestly, me personally, I almost never do. But the last time that I did, it was super easy. It was super helpful. It made me feel like I never have to call them again, which was a huge win.
Yeah.
So I definitely want to check out their experiences now.
Totally.
But when it comes to like rebranding, I didn't notice how often people will rebrand.
Oh yeah.
Let alone do a maintenance update. So the importance there is huge. It's just understandably overseen by some. But for those of you out there wondering what I'm talking about, I didn't realize how many times Apple has rebranded since their release.
And Google?
Yeah. What? Yeah.
Often.
Didn't even look at Google, but she just said Apple, and I'm like, what are you talking about? It's the silver apple. She's like, yeah, but it hasn't always been. I'm like, yeah, maybe it was like black once. Dude, it was like 9 or
So
like
many.
11 different apples that I didn't even remember.
Yeah.
So it's
Because you got to stay relevant.
You do, and there was no pattern to when they did it. There was a rebrand that they did 2 years apart, 7 years apart,
Sure.
6 months apart. It's like you said, when you need to stay relevant.
Yeah, well, it's data too. I mean, all these bigger companies use data, which is also something we help our clients with, to make decisions based on the data that their website or their visitors are providing without really realizing it.
Okay.
And so we're able to, or what those companies were likely able to see is, hey, our clientele or the people buying most of our products are this age group. Well, the age group that was buying it before is now in their 30s and 40s, and now we have this new age group in their 20s, let's just say. I'm making this up.
Right.
But the data shows this. Now they need to be relevant for the 20-year-olds,
Yes.
20 to 30-year-olds, which enjoy seeing things a little bit differently than the older folks,
Yes,
the
indeed.
30s to 40s and older.
Yes, indeed. Okay. Yeah. Well, so again, just to run this back for you guys, the 3 commonly misconceived notions when it comes to maintaining your business's website are design, templates, and updates or maintenance.
Yep.
So gotta keep it fresh, gotta keep it going. Templates probably not the way you want to go because it really wasn't meant for you, and design is not something you should ignore.
Yeah, really. You got to think about making that investment into your business. You're not just buying a template. You're investing into your business to grow it.
Right.
To generate more revenue, generate more leads. Really, you're investing to grow your business enough so you can have more employees, because that's really the dream, is to have more and more employees so that you can take care of those folks as a business owner, and so that they can, relive or live their goals that they want to have through your business.
Just imagine being able to create that for so many people. With that being said, for more episodes like this and others, come check us out. More episodes of Mint Condition can be found on our YouTube channel. You can also follow us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. Take flight with us. We'll see you next time.
I like that. Flight.